games yesterday. It's a lot more about the team fight and about just spreading the power out amongst their three cores. NIGMA have retreated back into one of their older styles where it feels like Miracle is almost always the one and the other four protect him. They've played Arc Warden first two, Anti-Mage. It's a lot of farming.
By the way, we left the Divine Division and you can already guess which heroes are going to be picked, at least when it comes to these two, because both of teams love Phoenix as their opener. NIGMA opens with Rubik, Phoenix, or Vengeful, and Team Liquid just adore that hero. If it's not banned, they'll pick it up. GH as well, Rubik. I have to go back to what Kyle said as well. I think NIGMA is a team that destroys your game. This is a team that needs to win a laning stage. They go with the Arc Warden again. I don't mind this. It's actually a solid hero versus both Phoenix and Tiny. Yeah. However, one thing, give a good lane. Because you need your playmaker to have a good start so that he can carry you through that mid game, after which it's all Miracle.
I mean, to be fair, Tidehunter usually has a good lane, but...
Let's not touch on the Tidehunter. Let's just move on. It's a new day.
All right.
I will say, I love the opening bans from NIGMA. I think Wisp and Mars are the two heroes just to keep away from Liquid. Play against the Phoenix, but the boxy Mars, I think, has been the X factor oftentimes in that composition. And with Liquid, ban Batrider. I expect this to be every team's first ban against NIGMA. Do not give Weeha the option to play bad.
They're doing the same thing that OG did yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's just ban out these nasty lane winners from Wii. Your Batrider is banned out, Viper is banned out, and Queen of Pain as well. Now this Viper, usually if you see it banned, it's like some fourth ban in which team is planning to pick Spectre afterwards. Yeah. This doesn't have to mean that at all for Liquid.
But you still could pick Spectre.
Spectre is actually quite nice versus Arc Warden, don't get me wrong. It's a pretty solid pick.
You got to be a little concerned for Liquid. They've got to expect a potential tri-lane. We've seen this from multiple teams with an Arc Warden Rubik +1. You go aggro, try. You have all these spells, and ultimately the AW ends up free farming. Phoenix, somewhat weak in a tri-lane. You'd like to get more levels on the hero. You don't want to be in a 3-on-3 scenario. And Tiny as well, in a tri-lane, needs levels, 0 armor, not ideal against 3 ranged heroes.
Yep. Sadly, we joined the drafting panel always a little bit too late to discuss the first bans from these two teams, but they matter so damn much. Like even this Vengeful Spirit. If you look at Team NIGMA right now, they have the Rubik and the Arc Warden. Usually in their drafts before, they would pair this with the Vengeful. And then you have this save for Arc Warden, but most importantly, a hero that just gives him so much utility. Then you follow up with whatever kind of team fighting and a team fighting set of heroes that don't really need a lot of farm, like your Sand King that they rolled yesterday, your Queen of Pains that they did before. Queen of Pain, however, banned out.
So the Venge ban you're saying kind of indicates that Liquid, we're suspecting that a first phase Arc Warden might come out, but they think that it's that pairing between the Venge and the Arc Warden.
It doesn't have to be just the Arc Warden. If you pick Vengeful first, Arc Warden is opened up. It's really solid. But Medusa, Trax, and Terrorblade suddenly become much stronger. Yeah, like these three in particular are just much stronger with that. And the Broodmother ban, all right.
Yeah, I think also it's that NIGMA typically are placing a big emphasis on some damage amplification. If you look back, not in Dying, we'll get to that in a sec, but they played OG without any and got smashed. If you look at their earlier drafts, they've been winning a lot of games with Magnus, with Venge specifically, and I think that that's just kind of par for the course when you consider they're liking to play around Miracle's hero, and they want to make sure he has the best game. I really liked, as an example, the Mag AM game they played against VP earlier in the tournament, where he actually skipped the Battle Fury and just played super aggressive on Anti-Mage, and they just crushed through the game.
I wonder if they're thinking about Arc Warden mid lane as well, because yesterday they did it, right? And now you have this Broodmother banned out. Like, it's one of those heroes that can deal with Arc really easily. But you can leave that later when you see Team Liquid. You can decide on your lanes. However, what Team Liquid have done right now is they picked this Darkseer that is a sick combo with Tiny. It's pretty decent with Phoenix as well, but most importantly, it will enable, no matter what carry you pick, to be surged up, to get on top of that Arc Warden. Even if you don't have any Blink Daggers or Reach, you will be able to get to him.
And if you're talking about flex potential, NIGMA was one of the few teams to run 3-position Undying, I believe, and so...
Yeah, they did. They played the offlane Undying. That's
a possibility that this could be Mind Control's hero.
It's an interesting matchup to pick it into the Phoenix, because you can argue that they, in a way, counter each other. I've always thought of Phoenix as an answer to the Undying. Because if they place Tombstone anywhere, you can also just egg, removes the zombies from the equation, and then suddenly you don't necessarily have control over this area because the Supernova is a threat. With the Bloodseeker, we can probably expect that to be the mind control hero. I love this pick. Have we seen it lose?
We have, but I don't think it lost with... I don't think NIGMA played it.
It was OG losing with it. It was... you're talking about the Undying with...
No, I just mean Bloodseeker.
Oh, sorry, Bloodseeker.
We did.
Yeah, no, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, Bloodseeker, OG's Bloodseeker was not victorious, right?
Yeah, not great. Wasn't that great. And there we go, the Spectre. This hero, you suddenly have that instant reach that gets on top of the Arc Warden.
The trouble is, this is like hard countered in a way by Undying, because if you fight into Tombstone, there's a zombie on everyone, which means that there's no Desolate damage on any target, which in a way removes Haunt as a huge source of damage. Yep. Plus, you have a ton of sustain, and I don't know how you lane against Bloodseeker either. I wouldn't favor the Spectre in this matchup.
Spectre Phoenix versus Bloodseeker, yeah, I wouldn't favor them at all.
No, Phoenix
as well.
is a strength hero.
Yeah, like you will not do a lot to this Bloodseeker. There is that thing in which he's trying to heal up, and you hit the Fire Spirit on him, and you wail into him, right? But
I bet I think you just show up with like 6 mangoes, some dying, spam, decay, and soul.
Or even
rip.
Rubik and Bloodseeker. That's also pretty decent. Like you can have the Undying and Dark Warden on the safe lane, which I actually like as well, because you'll be playing into Tiny and Darkseer. So Undying will, well, not versus Darkseer as much, but versus Tiny, it's pretty solid, and you will be protecting your Arc Warden from any great aggression. But I need to say, you mentioned the Spectre earlier, now you're doubting it a bit. I still love it. It's a Spectre versus Arc Warden. This matchup is heavily Spectre favored. Some things have changed, and yeah, that Midas is a little bit better, and Arc Warden comes online a little bit faster. But man, Spectre gets Manta Diff for any 2 items, pops that ulti, and you're just dead. Like, she solos you for the majority of the game if you don't have any saves.
Yeah. And I will say, there's still options with the Bloodseeker. Could also safe lane it, put Miracle mid on an Arc Warden. Bloodseeker does quite well against the Darkseer lane because you just sustain through any sort of Ion Shell harass. And later on, Surge is not really an escape mechanism if somebody ends up getting ruptured. But I just feel like NIGMA's power level in this draft is higher. I'm afraid for Liquid.
Look at how scary that is. Do you really want to give that an Arcana?
There's a lot of potential here. A lot of people, I think the leaks for the Wind Ranger Arcana were saying that there's going to be death effects whenever she kills someone. Spectre death effects could be pretty sweet. Not gonna lean anyone one way or the other. They're both carries, so I don't care.
Yeah, question is, what hero do you want for Koifa? I don't think they go back for a Lone Druid, even though we saw it the other day.
They did pick it with... It was greedy when they picked it the other day as well, right? It was pretty greedy. They had... No, actually they had the
Kunkka,
Lash.
perhaps? We saw some pretty sick Darkseer Kunkka combos in the Divine Division a couple of days ago. I think you'd really like to have another stun, because right now it's just Tiny. And I guess you can count Vacuum and Supernova, but...
All right.
They go... Okay, Zeus Spectre.
A lot of global potential.
Yeah.
How is it versus Arc Warden, though?
It's pretty nice.
It's pretty nice, yeah. You get that Nimbus. Like, the laning stage isn't that great. If Arc Warden is there versus the Zeus, I think Arc Warden can do well. But overall, it's pretty nice because Arc is pretty squishy. You get that way of getting on top of him. You get a way of giving info where exactly he is, even without Haunt. And it forces him to itemize a little bit differently because he cannot play this game without the BKB. And he also needs other items that are going to save him versus Spectre.
And you're also not threatened by the support duo. It's really rough to play Zeus if there's a ton of catch on the enemy team. But if you look at these cards, like, they don't have any way of actually closing the gap onto Koifa. So this last pick would have to do it. It's Weeha. I'd expect we either see a Wind Ranger or a TA.
There's still the possibility, like you mentioned, of sending the Arc Warden mid, though, if they like it versus the Zeus matchup.
But I think you want to pressure a Zeus. Like, you don't have much ability. You can't swap lanes on Liquid. Like, this is going to be a Zeus mid unless they make it a support and Tiny goes mid. So you have freedom to pretty much pick and choose any hero in Dota to free farm. I don't like Arc Warden just because you don't apply as much offensive pressure to the Zeus, and you'd like to be able to punish the matchup. Plus, if you look at the laning setup, NIGMA should win both side lanes,
That's true.
regardless of which one Arc Warden plays in. So you just give Wii what he wants and trust that he'll have effectively a free game, and in theory, we'll be able to control tempo until Miracle comes online.
There you go, the Void Spirit.
Okay.
Is that a Wii hero?
Yeah.
All right, gonna be interesting. It's. What do you think about that matchup overall versus Zeus, though? Shouldn't Zeus do fine there until you're 6, I guess? After you're 6, you're huge kill potential on the Void Spirit.
You have to see us a lot with spells, though. I think Void Spear just with the animation and base damage is going to have an edge, but sure, Koifa should farm. I'd agree.
As we see the odds, unsurprisingly, favoring NIGMA. This is a matchup that has happened many times in the past, and NIGMA generally comes out on top, but it's definitely a very exciting draft from both teams. Even though it's Arc Warden, usually Arc Warden Spectre is like, it's going to be a farm fest. There's so much combat on the other 4 heroes on each draft, though.
There's so much combat, indeed. On one side, you have this Void Spirit and Bloodseeker. I think they're the cornerstone of Team NIGMA right now in this draft. They need to do a lot of heavy lifting in the mid game in order to prevent this Zeus and Spectre from just blowing out of control. Because if they do, if Spectre hits that timing together with Zeus, it's easy to press R. It's not that difficult.
Both teams have very similar strats. In NIGMA's case, kill the Zeus. Liquid's case, kill the Arc Warden. I think a lot of this is actually going to be settled by the supports. Will the Phoenix or the Undying be the difference maker in a team fight? Who will take the first Roche? Neither side has the greatest potential to go for it, so we can expect some big clashes, but limited tower pressure, limited objective taking, so we should at least get a bit of a bloodbath. I expect a longer game. Spectre should win out in the end, but I think I'd have to favor NIGMA. I think this Bloodseeker hero is just too good.
Both teams just need to press R and then hopefully win the game. We'll see which team can do it first as we pass it on to our casters, Jenkins and Cap.
Team Liquid. Team NIGMA. Fight!
I have to say, that was a lovely throw from Tsunami. He's been doing a great job this event, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. Very happy with that one.
Absolutely. But I swear to God, Tsunami, if you ever say Jenkins' name first when you introduce our duo, we're going to have some words. Welcome, everybody, to Liquid versus NIGMA. I like how you were just going to play that off seriously. I know you would.
I was going to.
Welcome, everybody, to Liquid versus NIGMA. This hopefully will be an exciting series because the last NIGMA series that we casted was not.
Yes, that is true. I think we saw that the voters were saying this is like 60, 70% favored towards NIGMA. I disagree. I think this is way closer to 50-50 than people think. I think in the green room, too, people are saying NIGMA's going to win this one. But
yeah,
I have a lot of faith in Liquid after watching their 180 that they did in the VP series. Like, that was just beautiful.
They have played 4 elimination matches in a row so far. It has been against FLYTOMOON, OG, 5 Men, and VIRTUS.PRO. Their 5th elimination series is going to be up against NIGMA, a team that is certainly of higher caliber than most of those teams,
of course.
Let's say. Obviously, OG was the one standout from that entire listing, but still.
They have to prove themselves here, for sure. I think their draft is pretty easy to execute if they can get into that late game. The Spectre versus the Arc Warden, that's one of the easier heroes to get on top of them. You just press R. Eventually, you'll pick up an Aghanim Scepter, and then you can go to the main hero whenever he shows. And that is an item that people are building right now, is the Aghanim Scepter with the Spectre Haunt being nerfed. So I do think this is quite good, but we've seen NIGMA with this Arc Warden before. They make it look really good, even against counters.
Well, if you have faith in Liquid, Jenkins, let me do something to douse a little bit of that belief for you.
Don't do this to me.
Last time they matched up against each other, Beyond Epic.
Okay.
Best of 3.
When was this?
2-1 NIGMA. This was 2 months ago.
2-1, though.
Yeah, 2-1.
You know, they still took a game. Like I feel like 66%
Oh, no,
off.
absolutely. They can take games. Bounty Hunt. Best of 3.
Oh, you're going to keep going.
2-1 NIGMA.
I didn't realize you were going to keep going.
Bounty Hunt, again.
Okay.
2-1 NIGMA.
Okay. That's a lot of 2-1s there.
Best of 1.
Yeah.
NIGMA.
Oh, okay.
ESL 1 Birmingham. 2-1 NIGMA. So no doubt,
That's
Liquid,
a lot of
Liquid
2-1s.
is really good at taking an individual game off of Liquid. They're very good at doing it. However, they don't seem to be able to close out the series.
Well, you know, this is the series.
This is where they break the curse.
We are going to see that curse be broken here. Taiga placing a very nice mid-ward there. And look at this.
And I'm saying this because most of the time, only one of the series did they take game 2. All the other series, they take the first game in the series.
Okay.
So
this one is going to go to Liquid. Historically speaking.
again, I'm more trying to douse your hope in Liquid here by saying, don't get your hopes up too high when they win this game.
Well, you have done an adequate job at that. I've got to say, very impressive soul crushing you've just done.
Thank you. That's what I aim for. Boxy's going to be
which-
playing the Darkseer, which we actually need to touch on because most of the time they've been playing Taiga in more of a 3 position and Boxy more in a 4. In fact, we heard from that interview where Taiga said, yeah, I just understand this meta right now, and I was tired of goddamn losing. So I said, team, make me a core, I'll carry you guys. And they acquiesced. They said, okay, Tommy. Because apparently Tommy is not somebody who really is going to make those kind of demands very often.
Unless he knows.
Yeah, but he just feels really good about it, and he made that kind of call. And since then, it's been serving Liquid very well.
You know, the funny thing is that's a type of player. Like, when you say that, it's like, oh, I actually know people like that are really good. Like, I know Zai is another one of those players. Like, if Zai says he wants to do something, you just let him do it.
Yeah, I mean, Taiga has been full of clutch moments when with his history in Liquid. There was, of course, that infamous Dark Willow game where he was able to hold out from the fountain with that Aghanim's Dark Willow. And even just recently, we had him being able to go for the throne race and manage to bring down the throne with his Eidolons. So
It's usually 4 positions that are like that, honestly.
yeah,
They're like the god gamers. They just play whatever game and they're really good at it.
Yeah, in Southeast Asia, DJ, right? Great example of somebody who really shines on that 4 position. Though, lately, if you watch the Southeast Asia series earlier today, that was actually Jabs who came through in the clutch. Hook shot in, picked up a Divine Rapier on a deck and killed the throne. How insane is that?
Very
DJ
nice.
was there helping him out too, but in this game we do have that Koifa versus Weeha mid matchup, Zeus versus Void Spirit, which is going very, very well for Koifa. He's even got himself 3 denies.
I would imagine that's fairly Zeus favored. High base damage, good attack animation now. Finally, he has a good attack animation, and then also, you just do so much magic damage against a hero that literally has a physical damage shield.
Yeah.
Void Spirit doesn't really do anything to a Zeus.
And then our bottom lane, they're going to try and keep him in the silence. Oh, Insania gets hit by it, pops a healing salve, but he's still dead. Mind Control gets the first blood. I think Insania read that he wasn't going to be able to dive past the silence in time, and therefore he would just come right back.
Yeah, he had the point. Like, it was available. He just made the read. Oh, that's a nice read too. Speaking of which, it's cool to see Void Spirit players hitting those nice.
Taiga, he's in big time trouble here. Throws out the avalanche, and he's gonna die here if this last decay hits him. And there it is. RMN collects a second kill for NIGMA in this laning phase.
Yeah, 2-0 so far. I mean, these lanes I wouldn't say are necessarily supposed to go like this. They're about even. There's different timings you can have for either lane. Oh my god, that's
Jesus.
that's the worst death that you could possibly have. I mean, that's your Spectre. This is your counter to the Arc Warden. I don't know if they can keep aggroing after this. 2 kills on both the heroes.
Yeah, but is the other matchup any better? You want that Spectre into the Undying Arc Warden lane? That looks pretty bad too.
See, the Undying is the real issue.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
RMN will die here to the combo of the Darkseer and the Tiny, so they do manage to get that kill. It's still a bit concerning. 4-minute power runes are coming up though, and that's certainly where things could change a lot, because the one winning lane here from Liquid is this mid lane where Koifa continues to dominate 25-3, and Taiga helps him get a kill. Even better is Weeha spots Taiga. It's on the other side of things. That's where the Rubik is signed. And look at him. They really want to be able to protect Weeha here and allow him to be able to get this. And Koifa and Taiga are not going to let him to. Dissimulate goes out. He does manage to pick it up, and now he's fully committed. Toss up in the air, and he may just be dying as Insania is going to ensure it here. Now GH, he's probably going to be run down as Koifa has those high levels of Arc Lightning that we've been seeing from Zeus's, and they start evening things out on Liquid.
That's one of those weird situations where it looks really silly that he commits like that, but both of the mid heroes had no resources and an empty bottle. So like whoever gets that rune, it's just
an arcane rune too.
It's just over. It's just over for the other mid laner. So like you have to go for it.
Yep.
You'd arguably rather die and then get the rune than give it to the other guy. Just have that full reset from Fountain at least.
So even before that play, I was going to set it up where Liquid do have a chance to be able to come back, right? Because they have this crazy global strategy, a classic Zeus Spectre duo. Mind Control doing a good job controlling up the bounty rune there, and they get Insania's Courier for that.
Darkseer Phoenix as well. Like these heroes are nothing to scoff at in the late game. They're not really like damage dealing cores per se, but they offer so much for team fights. Right, like you have the vacuum you have the surge on the Spectre, maybe on the Zeus to save him, the wall creating the illusion of the Arc Warden, Bloodseeker. Like it's pretty nice to go late game with these heroes as long as you have some sort of damage. And between Zeus and Spectre, of course, they're going to have damage.
So I cast an NA game last night with Trent, and he was telling me they've been covering Southeast Asia and some of the NA games.
Yep.
And he said in Southeast Asia they've actually been experimenting with Nature's Prophet Zeus, which, you know, is another global strategy, but the current Nature's Prophet that does so much damage with Wrath of Nature, the only way to really deal with that is to hide, to be off map, and Zeus reveals you, right?
Yep.
So it's like...
It's the same thing with the Spectre Zeus.
Yep.
I imagine that's what you're moving into is this combo.
Oh, there's the Zeus ultimate to go off and might just get them 2 kills here in the top lane, but GH is there to turn things around, and if anything, Boxy is going to get a little bit low. Stick will heal him back up here. They're actually going to TP out, and that's because the Void Spirit was actually making his way down the river. They knew that because they had a ward there in the triangle area that spotted some of the rotation.
Very nice ward. Yeah, that's, you know, clearly to protect the Miracle Arc Warden there. Actually, that's from Liquid.
Yep.
That's a Liquid ward. Wow. Deep. But yeah, this aggro situation with an Arc Warden becomes a little weird and awkward whenever there's a Zeus or, like we were talking about, Nature's Prophet in the game, because you get this level 6 really quickly on these heroes, and then all of a sudden you don't have to have this rotation happen with the mid laner, but you have this extra damage in the lane. It's like, okay, well, we were winning this lane before, but you throw in this like 300, 400 damage nuke. Like, what the hell can you do, right? Even if there's a level disadvantage, you still can die.
The one lane that continues to be won here is, I believe, Mind Control is very happy with his matchup because this damage just doesn't threaten him, right? Bloodseeker with his Thirst, like they don't have any like burst damage or anything that really keeps him low enough he can't approach the creep waves, so.
Yep, exactly. Phoenix, Spectre, neither of these heroes really do enough damage. It's you need some heroes to kill the Bloodseeker. These are not kill heroes. These are slow harass heroes, and that's exactly what Bloodseeker prefers to play against. We even saw Bloodseeker doing well against a Nature's Prophet.
Taiga approaches and then backs away. As soon as the TP was there, I think he was hoping to be able to get an avalanche toss back, but no such luck, and looks like that would be the first rupture of the game with the rotation from Weeha. They do ensure the kill on the carry of Liquid.
This frees up the mid lane for Miracle, too. He needs the space with that little aggro lane that he was doing, and of course dying to the Zeus. Ooh, predicted the wrong way.
He thought there was a chance, and Insania double back here, still holding that double damage in an Astral Step. So this is a very dangerous man. Weeha, as he tends to, full out aggression, dissimulate immediately. Astral Step away before he can get caught by the stun. Still got the rest of the team surrounding him here, so he's still ready to fight, but Koifa's got to cut over. They do have the Blood Right. Taiga's throws out his combo, tries to bring down Mind Control, and they do. Taiga, really nice that he blows his combo and then gets his distance away. That was well played.
That's one of those baits of this Bloodseeker hero, is that you feel like people are low, so when you're playing in the offlane, it's like, oh, I can run them down, right? But that you do no damage. You do no right-click damage, so you get baited into the tower like that, and then allow Taiga to make that play.
Nice kill. Liquid beginning to pick up some steam here as Boxy put the Ion Shell on Mickey right as Koifa started getting aggressive on that Arc Warden. So the Spectre gets on top of you instantly, and he's got the Ion Shell damage. Pretty easy.
I've definitely heard a lot of people flame this Spectre plus Darkseer combo. It's like, oh, it's Surging Spectre. That's not that scary, right?
Yeah. Whoa, dodging the Rupture there for a second. Mind Control still looks to get it out. Instead, he's going to throw it onto the Phoenix here. Phoenix not have the Supernova. Getting behind this tier 1. Blood right in the middle, so Phoenix isn't able to dodge it here, and they'll just burst him down with GH.
Nice thing about the Bloodseeker, when you Oh,
There's that Ion
Another Ion Shell.
on the Darkseer. Another combo that works really well with the Darkseer. I would say a lot better is that Tiny.
right. Exactly what I was saying about the Spectre, too. It's like in the early game, you throw an Ion Shell on some hero, all of a sudden they become a killer.
Yeah. Boxy is going to be able to surge away from a lot of this damage. Really nicely played, but he may still die. In fact, he does. There's the Soul Rip, just does so much damage. Especially when you've got that Veil out from Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he might have TP bot, too, which...
Oh, that's
yeah, that could be a real issue for defending this tower. I mean, not that the tower really matters that much.
yeah.
This one's largely irrelevant.
Looks like 3 bounty runes for NIGMA. So what do you think? I mean, the initial part of the laning phase looked a little rough just because the side lanes were bad for Liquid. But then as soon as they got their level 6s, they ran around, got some kills. Now the net worth is pretty even. Do you feel like a team has an advantage one way or another?
You know, I look at this Liquid draft. Like, if you have this draft in a pub, and I know this is a pub... Okay,
Koifa pulled back in.
So much damage.
Looking to be able to burst him down, just need a little bit more. Koifa trying to dodge those hits, turns around, gets a little damage on a Weehaw here, backs away, but he dies eventually to Soul Rip, and so will Taiga, looks like, as they just effortlessly dive this Tier 1 tower with multiple people, and they've got the Sea Dragon alive too.
I like how active NIGMA's being in this game. I think if they aren't active, they're just going to fall victim to this very easy to execute draft from Liquid. It's really obvious how the team fight should be played. You just vac into Phoenix Egg, Tiny Stun, and then press the Spectre and Zeus spells, press their Rs, and then you're probably going to win the fight. Like, that alone is too much damage to deal with. But if you're taking these small skirmishes and you're getting the jump, even smoking immediately after taking the Tier 1 tower, that shows how fast they want to play, even with an Arc Warden.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They want to be able to, with this 4-man, create a lot of space for the Arc Warden. The more towers they take, the more map control Arc Warden can grab with his Tempest Double. But here comes a re-smoke up from Liquid. Run over Mind Control real quickly. Koifa pops the ultimate to ensure the last hit there on Mind Control. Big kill. Heavy rotation, though, from Liquid. Let's see if they similarly can get an objective off of a hero kill like that. Insania diving forward, does manage to catch GH. GH, look at that. Sunray immediately going out from Insania to prevent the Icarus dive steal from GH that would have allowed him to escape.
Yeah, that's very nice. And the thing with this rotation, too, is it's not only they're getting kills, but they rotated towards this bot tower. This is the exact place on the map that you want to play because you want to take this tower to take over the jungle.
Look at this support duo setting up for this Tier 1 because they're like, okay, a bunch of people showed bottom. Let's just immediately rotate to the other side. Insania looks like he's going to kind of bait himself here and see if Weehaw takes the bait or not.
Yeah, this is a really nice play. Oh, Miracle goes for the wraparound.
And Koifa's caught. Telekinesis is there in time.
Once again, I'm impressed with how active he's being.
Okay, Weehaw's going to take it. He's going to go for this kill on Insania. I'm not sure that a Tiny is going to be able to do enough damage, but we'll see. Weehaw has another Astral Step. Insania catches him, slows him down just enough. Another round of Fire Spirits, a little bit more. The Spectre ult's going to go off. They have the egg as well. They're going to dive in deep with this dagger and eventually get the kill, yes. But it cost them 2 ultimates for it.
Maybe we taunted a little bit too early there with the chat line. I think he expected to get away, but with the double global strat, it's... You always got to look out, man.
Yep.
You got to be careful. Such activity from both teams in this game, despite both teams having some like insane late game. It's just all guns blazing.
That being said, with the Spectral used, Miracle is certainly going to feel like a lot more comfortable in being aggressive and shoving down lanes and such.
Yeah, 100%. I'm surprised he's playing with this hero up so much, but I get it. Like, look at this Liquid draft right now. You have this amazing late game, this amazing team fight, but what initiation do you have? What killer heroes do you have right now? It's just Taiga, right? And this is a guy playing without a blink there. He's done a great job so far, but he's the only hero that can really do any sort of initiation. Yeah. They don't have tower push either, which is exactly why they made that smoke to bot, but then they didn't push the tier 1 because what's the point? It's going to take so long. You're going to get wiped trying to do it with these heroes.
Sure.
Like, they have to fight because they don't want to just lose to this snowball from NIGMA, but they also can't take towers. They can defend towers very well, though.
That they can, and they've only bled away 1 tower so far, and that was through that really nice smoke gank into mid lane. Bottom tower is getting pretty low, but you can see the Darkseer's trying to stand in front of that. Phoenix is one of the better heroes to do something similar here. Surge forward with the Ion Shell, cutting through the trees. Spotted, though, and certainly doesn't want to go through that blood right.
The Surge definitely helps Taiga with these initiations, even without the Blink Dagger. Like, this is definitely a... I like that they're playing these two heroes together, or at the very least, whenever Taiga's going for a play, he's doing it with a shell on him. Like, every single time we look at this little rock, he's got a shell on him.
Yeah. And we've seen so often, like, these tinies with Grimstrokes, or, like, it's so many heroes, basically. It's like you add a little bit of a nuke on top of that, and it almost guarantees you're going to get a kill.
Yeah, exactly.
If you get your combo off. They're going to pull him back in with the Aether Remnant, see if they can blow him up before he gets off the Supernova. He does manage to do so, but the Egg's going to die really quickly, and now Taiga is probably going to die as well. Nice tie spout, Weehaw, but he has no TP, so, and he has no way to cut down trees, so there's nowhere he can cut down and hide. No options.
It is getting to the point, though, that I think an option for them is to go for the Blink Dagger on Tiny whenever they make these plays. Like, I think it's getting harder and harder to just run into NIGMA. I mean, especially when they're 5-manning like this, even bringing the Arc Warden to all of their engagements. And I get why they're doing that. If you look at the tower damage from NIGMA, all they have is Arc Warden. And I mean, he's not even that much, but at least he's a ranged hero, right? And he's got the summoned clone of himself that can do a little bit of damage. So if they want to take towers and be active, he's got to be active. God, this ward is beautiful. I love this ward.
That's a cool one. That's expected to be like one of the safest places to farm early on because you're right next to a tier 2 tower. Like, surely that's an okay place.
And who wards there? It's on the low ground.
Yeah.
All of your Dota instincts tell you that you will not die there. And apparently the instincts were right. Nobody died. It's too safe, even with the ward.
Still tier 1 tower remains. That's at bottom. RMN currently set up 4 levels of Soul Rip, 1 level of Tombstone.
I love the heroes that they're playing together when they split like this on NIGMA. Bloodseeker Rubik, RMN. This is a really nice 3-man unit, and then these other, like in terms of team fight, and then these other heroes, Arc Warden and Void Spirit, they're fast, they're mobile, they can get to the fight.
So I want to point something out. This seems to be a pattern for Liquid. This is now the second time where I've seen them. They very clearly have late game. This time around, they may not be stacking as much, but they do have 2 supports that can kill creep waves and like protect towers.
Yep.
You could see the Phoenix, like Insania was playing top so often. Like he was just collecting creep waves, getting the CS and experience, keeping it off the tower, and then you've got basically 2.5 cores who are farming jungle the entirety of that time. They weren't showing on the map hardly at all.
And I do think if they can engage in some sort of 5v5 combat with NIGMA, as long as there isn't somebody getting picked off right at the start, I think this kind of greed that you're talking about and playing to farm will lend itself to them winning a fight. The question is, will NIGMA give that opportunity? Like, I really like this itemization for Mind Control. He's just saying, screw the Zai build, right? I'm just going to go for the Veil because I think it's a necessity on this hero, which I totally agree with, and then go straight for the pipe. Not going to give them any chance to do this magic bullshit combo, Zeus, Spectre. They're not going to kill us. Even though this hero kind of lacks the mana to use this item, like, you need it on somebody. Bloodseeker's got to build it.
Yeah, nobody else is going to be able to build a pipe. The only other target would be this Undying.
No way.
And I don't think Armin's getting a pipe anytime soon.
No.
There's a reason why this hero hasn't been run core a whole lot. It's pretty much only NIGMA who has taken that chances with Mind Control.
Yep. You have to snowball with it. You have to dump on the lane and then be so huge that you can sit in lanes hitting creeps.
Aghanim Scepter almost done for Weeha's Void Spear. What is Mikke's farm at currently? I haven't seen his items queued up in a while. Blade Mail.
Oh, Blade Mail. Interesting. Okay. I suppose if he gets ruptured, that's going to be good. If the Arc Warden, this hero, does a lot of right-click damage, it's basically the only other way that they can kill him. I think Void Spirit doesn't really care that much about the Blade Mail.
Yeah.
Just too mobile, too tanky.
Taiga now has his Blink Dagger. He took the time to be able to farm it up, and they're going to go for the fast kill out of Mind Control. But Mind Control with a pipe up and the Soul Rip, he heals up so much. They do manage to get the Supernova off. Eul Scepter buying Koifa a little bit of time. The Egg protecting him. They deal with the Tombstone, but Weeha comes in looking for the execution on a Koifa here. But he stays alive, staying away. Dagger coming in, dissimulate. No, he doesn't actually get hit by it. Weeha trying to finish him. The Eul Scepter, their toss up in the air. does manage to finally get the Zeus there from GH, but it's still a 1-for-1 trade-off. NIGMA pushing forward, looking to catch some of these heroes, slow them down. Phoenix will eventually get out here. But Mickey, he's pretty healthy. And nice toss, avalanche combo there from Taiga. Mickey, though, getting so aggressive. I think he thought he could just 1v4 pretty easily. That may not be the case. He has the Sunrise on top of him. That's healing him up a lot, but it's not quite enough. The vacuum comes in, grabbing a number of heroes with the Fire Spirits on him. The avalanche toss kills Miracle, almost takes down GH as well. Taiga deals the finishing blow there, and Mickey, he baits out a great fight for them. He just charged in, man, with that blade mail, said, fight me, and then his supports were the ones to able to clean up all the kills.
Yeah, that was just beautiful, Dota, man. Like, the start of that fight, baiting a mind control, that's just perfect. That's exactly what you need to do when you have that pipe. And then we have this hyper-focus on the Zeus, which of course needs to happen, but then the egg gets popped, and everybody plays around protecting that Zeus with the egg. And he survives, and he dodges the, what is it, dissimulate, is that what it's called? The dissimulate,
Yep.
He dodges that just by a fraction, which lets Taiga get off that nice avalanche toss, killing the Void Spirit, and then the re-engage, the choice to re-engage, because it's like they've committed so much to go for this Zeus, that we can actually kill Miracle, who's now out of position. All of these other heroes, we don't give a shit about them. Like, I think it was Kyle that said it, this game is all about the Arc Warden, it's all about the Zeus. These are the heroes that matter.
Yep. Two backline glass cannon type heroes that usually do not have any way to protect themselves if you get on top of them. And both sides have heroes that can kind of automatically get into the backline with Void Spirit and Spectre.
Dire are scanning.
So it falls on the team, it falls on the supporting cast to make sure that they're protecting their little boy.
Yeah, and they've got the same protection too, because they both have a totem, a structure that they lay down on the ground and says, we're going to fight around this area. Tombstone and the egg.
You got the blood right to put down.
Taiga just poking at him, I guess. Backing away, though. They're going to lose their tier 2 pretty early here. So much stuff out on the ground. Ether Remnants and Spark Race everywhere. It's not a battlefield that is Liquid feel good about fighting, so they just give it up.
We're definitely seeing one of these big holes in the Liquid draft in the fact that they don't have any tower push, and with the lead that NIGMA has, they're afraid to D-push with the Zeus because you can just jump in with the Void Spirit, who is so huge in this game.
Yeah.
So it's like this map is incredibly limited. Like the mid-tier 1 is still alive. We've just lost a tier 2 for Liquid. Now the outpost is going to go down. The game gets a lot harder from here on out.
I agree. The map control is definitely a big problem, but at the same time, this net worth difference isn't that big. So despite it controlling less of the map, jump in, try to grab the Void Spirit, but Weehaw already jumped away. He instantly Astral stepped out of that one. The vacuum avalanche is still going to catch him for a bit of damage, but eventually does get that second Astral set. By the way, that was really fast. He dissimulated in and instantly jumped out.
Yeah, great discipline there. I wouldn't even call that instincts. I guarantee you he had no idea that was coming. It's just that he knows that good players in Dota, they clear waves fast. If you're good, you assume the enemy team is good.
Sure.
And so you should assume that they're always there waiting to kill you. So you jump in, immediately jump out, don't even worry about getting the last hits.
They do have level 15 talent on the Darks here now, so that is going to help out a lot in team fights. And he's going to be going for a Lotus Orb.
I think he did go for the HP talent on the Iron Shell. I believe that's the...
Yeah. Right. I mean, does anybody go the wall?
I have seen some people going for it now that
Really?
the Iron Shell's been nerfed. Yeah, but you know, I mean, 350 HP. I feel like the 400 was just way too much. 350 is more balanced, but probably still not that balanced.
Yeah.
It's a new talent. This is how it is with new things that are added to the game.
Yeah, very few abilities out there give you bonus health.
Just straight up, just raw health.
Yeah. Mickey. Bit of a net worth difference between him and the Arc Warden, but the other cores of Liquid are a little bit happier with, I guess they're all kind of even.
Yeah, this is really just the Arc Warden Midas factor. I would say this game is fairly even. The real differentiator is the map advantage. But then you could argue, do you really need that much of the map to use with these heroes? Like Phoenix can kind of sit in trees and side lanes, and they've got this global. They're kind of okay with farming their own jungle. It's very close. This is a very close game so far.
I feel like we're about to hit go time for NIGMA. Like, they're going to get BKB on the Arc Warden. That is supposed to be able to deal with I mean, it deals with everything, right? The Zeus, the Tiny, so that magic damage and that stuff he's just able to ignore. And then the Spectre may get on top of him, but it's not Spectre time yet. He's going to have Blade Mail Manta. That is not a lot of damage, especially if you're able to summon a unit next to you that prevents any of that extra damage.
This is true. This is true. It's really not a problem yet. I think you're totally right. I think there's two ways this can go. Either they show up with the Arc Warden and they wipe Liquid with a nice BKB, or he presses the BKB a little bit too early, and then Liquid re-engages like we saw them do in the fight with Taiga jumping in.
Sure.
And Mickey running in and baiting. I think Liquid is going to be very much so looking to bait the BKB and re-engage.
Yeah, I actually think this is a critical time where Liquid needs to hold on to hold up some buybacks. You know, they need to save up enough gold because they've got heroes like Zeus and Spectre automatically, right? But any of these heroes, any of these fights happening around a tier 2, right? Those are massive.
Yeah.
Taiga makes the jump in with the follow-up. Nimbus trying to blow up mind control real quick, but once again, his sustain build allows him to be able to tank through this burst damage pretty quickly. Insania has to get out. Weeha gonna be able to chase him down. Gets one silence on top of it. Insania gonna pop the Supernova right as he throws the Fire Spirits out. RMN has been pulled back into his doom, but NIGMA say, we forced a lot out of them. Let's just call it here, reset real quickly. They're gonna lose their Tempest double. That'll be a little extra gold for Taiga, but other than that, I mean, a Supernova for an Undying, I don't think Liquid's unhappy with that either. Oh, they're actually going to go back in. They managed to catch Taiga. That is a really big upgrade, but the Sun Rays healing him. Finally, he does go down. The damage coming in from Miracle with the Mjolnir. He's doing a lot. Mickey's going to try and get on top, and there goes that BKB. Mickey has to instantly reset here. Taiga buys back. He's here in the fight, but they have to wait out that BKB. Boxy trying to get out of the Blood Right, does manage to do so, while Taiga looks for the entry back in, catches up to him. There, Weeha gets got inside the Nimbus by Taiga. Now they're going to be able to stop Miracle's TP as well. Koifa looking to be able to chase him down, pull him back in with a vacuum. Mickey running down all of these heroes in mind control. One of the last cores left alive with Weeha buying back in. They've got 2 alive in this fight. Can they actually close it out? They're going to get on top of Koifa here. Koifa dancing away behind this tree. It's going to be run down. Blood Right dodges that. Where's the rest of the team? Where are they? They're trying to chase down the rest of the supports right now while Koifa's calling for help. He's like, please, anybody save me. But they're not here. The rest of Liquid don't show up. They play around this Nimbus, and now a very fast mind control is looking for some extra kills. Fortunately, Taiga's able to blink himself away, but all of these heroes are low. Mind control certainly can catch. Oh, he got fooled. Boxy playing inside of the easy camp, lured him into a vacuum. He's now stuck up on the high ground. That was supposed to be all their chase. Now Taiga, oh, they just got him. That's a dieback there. Weeha's dead. Mind control's still stuck up on the cliff, so he has to actually TP back to the mid-tier 1 tower, but the supports, they're a little far out here, and Mickey, he's feeling good after that Sunray heal for the Blood Right. It does a lot of damage. Quickly mantas up and goes back in with the Avalanche. Stun onto 2, a toss up in the air. Mind control solo, vacuuming back in, but the Soul Rip managed to keep him alive. RMN will back out as well. The Supernova explodes, and Liquid call quits. They say, that's it. We're good. We're going to reset a little bit here. That fight was perfectly fine for us.
Exactly what you said would happen happened. Taiga ran in. He bought back. He baited with his life. He buys back. He did everything in that fight.
I mean, even the decision to go on the Bloodseeker, right? Which we saw them do before.
Oh yeah, we all know that's bad.
We know that's not going to work.
Like
you know it doesn't kill. Like, that has to be a conscious decision
Right.
of like,
Of course.
I'm starting fights here.
Yes, exactly.
But I have buyback.
We need to start a fight and just have somebody die. It's going to be me. Let's get this thing going. Let's bait out that BKB, which they did, and then they kill Miracle soon after. Yeah, very nice from them.
But
Unfortunately, Koikva.
I mean, those 2 Supernovas in that fight, by the way.
That was a long
one, but it means that he doesn't have the Supernova here. He tries to jump in and steal away the Aegis. He doesn't get it, and GH actually snatches him before he can get back up to the high ground. So Insania got to be slowed down and eventually killed here. You can see Weeha lurking around the sides here, trying to collect any extra kills of Liquid members nearby. They are not, though. Liquid, they are more than content, I think, to just find some opportunities to farm where they can.
It is a solid timing, though, now, because it's not just the BKB on the Arc Warden. Now we have to worry about this Aegis as well.
Yeah.
You need to, if you can, just hold out for as long as possible, not engage, try to split push, which it looks like that's what they're doing. They're playing in the enemy jungle.
What do you do about the Spectre, though? If he gets Scotty, it means he gets on top of Miracle, and he never lets go, because you have a Scotty against a range hero.
This is true. It's a real problem. Once again, it falls to the NIGMA supports to peel for the Arc Warden, and it falls to the Liquid supports. Who am I kidding? It falls to everybody to peel for the Zeus and the Arc Warden.
Yeah.
That's just,
they got to throw their lives.
That's just Dota.
Wherever they can. Taiga is one of them that cannot afford going down right now because that is a dieback. So 70 seconds with an Aegis on top of that. NIGMA, yeah, I wasn't going to say go high ground before, but now it's a very real possibility. One of the most dangerous situations was getting tossed back into the base, and that's no longer a problem for a minute.
Taiga's been so crucial in these fights, too. You cannot lose him. But they do have a Zeus. This is one of the best heroes at holding high ground, especially with that Aghanim Scepter. That's going to make it very difficult.
They can deal with the Tempest double. Normally the bubble protects you really well, but Mickey is so statted up right now. He can play frontline pretty well, and then the Zeus pumps out so much damage through the bubble that there's just not a whole lot of reliable chip damage here for NIGMA. So yeah, even with the tiny down, they're going to have to back up, just control bounty runes, which is still really good.
Yeah, they should get all of them with that. So it is something. It's 2,000 gold at this point to get all the bounties. It's actually kind of insane.
We got some tier 3 items still out there, it seems. That we've been fighting so much, nobody's been able to hit neutral creeps around that 27-minute mark, so you can see the lack of vision here for Liquid. Map very, very closed off with only that tier 2 still live at bottom.
Yeah, NIGMA just going to probably move their way into that triangle and stay there. They're converging there as a team. GH is just getting those top bounties because they're there. They don't want to get those sniped. They'll just TP bot to that outpost.
Tempest double and a mind control. Oh, that's pretty nice. Mind control with his build and how tanky he gets, and then the fact that you have a backliner with Mjolnir putting the active on you. There's a lot of things, a lot of small bits of damage, right? Sunray, Ion Shell, Avalanche.
Yeah. Bloodseeker surprisingly tanky as a hero, as an offlaner. He's got some girthy talents, some armor talent, some HP talent. Nobody cared about it when he was a core. Now that he's an offlaner.
Something about these agility heroes that get stat items and like that gives them HP or strength.
It's nasty
because they naturally get so much armor.
Right. It's really crazy when agility heroes are good offlaners. It's the same thing with Nature's Prophet. He's actually the highest agi gain non-agi hero in the game. This is the reason why Nature's Prophet has no tank items, and he feels like an immortal god when you try to go on him.
Yeah.
He builds pipe and Vlads and all this shit in the offlane.
Yeah, he gets a BKB and just TPs into the middle of the fight, pops BKB and starts right-clicking people. You're like, wait, what?
If you're an agi hero, you really just have to protect against magic damage, because your entire existence will deal with the physical damage.
Really nice combo of wards here from NIGMA. They see this farming that's currently going on. Unfortunately, the smoke is going to arrive a little bit too late to punish them, or maybe it won't. GH is going to be able to lead off. Telekinesis, Weehaw follows up, cleans out the creep wave, and they get the Rupture onto Mickey here. The Lotus Orb bounced it back onto Mind Control. Mind Control, he's going to die to the Blade Mail almost. Woo! He actually heals up a decent amount, but you see that Blade Mail actually causing him some real problems there.
The counter. That's the counter. We were talking about the magic damage. We were talking about the physical damage, but what about pure?
Yeah. Man, that was funny. He like moved a little bit for the Rupture, and then all of a sudden he just kept bleeding out.
Dude, one time I was Weaver. There's a Bloodseeker.
Yeah.
And
you got the 25 talent and blade mailed him?
No, I blade mailed. He ruptured me. I Sakuchi'd as far as I could, and then I pressed R, and he died instantly. He took like 2,000 pure damage. He was probably so confused.
That's pretty good.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen in this game because the Bloodseeker's an offlaner, so he's got Greaves.
And by hit R, you mean you were still in range of the like 1,300.
Correct.
So you did a bunch of Shikuchi running damage and then zipped it all back. Mickey pops the ultimate here. They see the opportunity with GH gone. They say, this is a great time to be able to jump them. And look at that. They've taken 2 supports and the offlaner down, and they're still looking for more. Taiga throws out an Avalanche, just kind of hunting right now. Does manage to get the courier there from RMN with the tree.
Man, if only they knew Miracle was right there around the corner.
Yeah, he was close. Liquid might just be able to get their second tower of the game with these people dead. Oh, Weehaw! Okay. This Lightning Bolt stuns for a decent amount of time with that level 20 talent. He's held in there for a moment, but he had double Astral Step, so he's good to get out. Deal with the Tempest double here as you can. but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get that mid tower. Mickey takes a decent amount of damage, and all the supports are coming up soon. Unless they can catch Miracle, they do. Avalanche toss up in the air. Miracle goes down to half health, pops his BKB, turns and heals. And it's something that Liquid are just happy to be able to force those charges out where they can. A 5,000 net worth lead for NIGMA, but it feels like their team fight is not secure, Jenkins.
I love how Liquid is forcing the BKB. You can see that they're making a conscious effort to go in, but not hyper commit. And they can do that because they have the Darkseer. They have this hero that can just surge Taiga right out, and then the other heroes are just, you know, they're long range, right? So they're not committing in general.
Yeah.
This is exactly how they have to play this. I think you could very easily have had this game just be lost immediately there with the BKB coming out and then everybody coming back alive on NIGMA.
Taiga with the spider legs gets himself up here on the high ground. He has a lot of vision of NIGMA here. I think they also know the BKB is still on cooldown for a little bit. There goes Taiga, makes his initiation, pulling back in. They do have to actually stolen wall there from Mickey. That actually cost him a lot, and he actually goes down. He doesn't have buyback either with Boxy taking so much damage as well. They get a secondary core. This could easily be NIGMA pushing high ground and taking at least the lane of barracks. Boxy, eventually that rupture does wear out and they back away. But Miracle, it's time to lay some damage out into these tier 3s, see how quickly they can take this lane of barracks. The backdoor protection will save them a moment or two, but the creep wave's coming.
Once again, there's this question that, you know, anytime there's a Zeus, it's like, can you go high ground, even with the Spectre dead? Like, you almost have to kill the Zeus. I mean, it looks like they're going to get the tier 3 at least.
Yeah, they're pushing back a lot of these. Like, it's not easy to get close to this. As you can see, Boxy's just going to tank up some of the Spark Race to open it up for Taiga and for Koifa to be able to get close. They're going to pull back in, see if they can finish off this Tempest double, and they do.
The double siege creep definitely helps out there. I think if that wasn't a double siege timing, you might see something totally different because we have the backdoor kick in.
They're going to pop the glyph, but they still have 20 seconds on the Spectre. I think NIGMA, at this point, you commit, or maybe even better if you could see the opportunity to initiate. But no, just a full lane of barracks. You're going to be very happy with that. They're going to back away before Liquid can catch them at all. Very nice.
Clean, man. I mean, this all just goes back to the stolen wall. The way that he used the vector targeting to put it in the direct path that Spectre would need to go to get back to her team.
They tried to catch Weehaw. It looks like Duke managed to get him with the toss Nimbus, and then the lightning bolt comes in from Koifa and produces a corpse. Weehaw does have buyback here. Liquid surge up on Taiga. They immediately pop the ultimate. They're trying to get on top of Miracle. Miracle pops the BKB to defend himself, and Liquid do disengage, especially with Mickey on top of that wall of replica again. He has to back out, play underneath this Supernova, deal with the Tombstone, deal with the mess that is coming out here from NIGMA. Weehaw did not panic. He did not buy back here. They have the repair kit as well, but Taiga does go in. That's the Avalanche combination. They finish off the courier there of RMN, but they don't get a hero.
I don't think I've ever seen a tier 1 repair kitted. Usually they're all gone by the time you get a repair kit.
And this is a serious problem. I don't think Liquid can take this tower at all.
This is what you usually see on the high ground, is the repair kit and then the Arc Warden bubbles. This is going to make the next Roche so difficult to fight for Liquid.
Yeah.
They have no outer towers whatsoever. Enigma still has their tier 1. 38 minutes.
Yeah. If NIGMA has the mid-tier 1 tower and they have the outpost, they have full Roshan control. Any fight that happens around there, they can buy back and TP, and basically they have 10 members to be able to bring to a Roshan fight. Well, Liquid, much harder to be able to do something like that when you have no towers whatsoever.
I mean, with the outpost, you have to be so worried about the possible wraparound, or if you go take it, what if the Roche is happening and then there's an engagement, you jump on the person that's taking the outpost? So many questions if you're Liquid.
Yeah, and as a result, they just have to give it up. At least the Aegis, I feel like Liquid, with their high ground defense, Aegis is not the biggest deal.
True, yeah, for sure.
As Miracle, like, he very much depends on his BKB, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I also think that probably Wii can die before he gets the cheese off as well. We've seen him get just instantly bursted by the Zeus Tiny combination.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's not the absolute worst, but we're looking for glimmers of hope in what appears to be a very bleak game right now, basically.
Yeah, certainly. How's our Spectre's farm doing? Is he closing in on any items? Anything that will change the game? They got Scotty, MKB, and have to hold on to the rest for that buyback, presumably. Mind Control leading the charge here. He's proven that he's more than tanky enough with 3,200 HP.
Oh my god, he's got the Witless Shaco now too.
Yeah, that is unfair. That is just wrong.
That is mean. Just relax, dude.
And Mickey. Oh, there's so much stuff. The Spark Racer everywhere. Miracle's Tempest double is very quickly doing so much damage. Looks like they tried to wrap into the side, but Weehaw spotted them, and he put an end to all of that. Boxy goes down, and Taiga at half health has to use the Spider Legs to retreat. A 4 versus 5 now. NIGMA continuing to keep their foot on the throat of Liquid. Pushing this high ground, chipping away at this tier 3. Another 400 health for the Bloodseeker, by the way, so he's now at 3,600. Jump in from Insania. Taiga's going to follow that up. They try and blow up Weehaw real quickly. In and out. Disengage. Insania going in with the Sunray here. Yule Scepter up in the air. Nimbus trying to stop him. Thinks he is going to be silenced up, and he will not be able to get off the egg. Mickey has committed himself in here, trying to go for Mind Control, but again, Mind Control super tanky. Back up at the high ground he goes, using the dagger, but he's still going to be hit by that Blood Rise. Still taking a lot of damage now. They've lost the Zeus. That's going to be another buyback. In fact, Mickey may still die. The Spark Race, a little bit shallow there, are unable to catch him. But still, NIGMA, they lost very little in that team fight. They still have that Aegis. They still have that cheese, I think. And quick, that's a dieback.
Wait, why was he there?
He was so far forward, I don't know what happened there.
Oh, man. I mean, it's probably over either way, but it's really over without the Zeus. There's no way you can hold this. This is Megas. They might even just go straight throne.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing here.
Just
playing around the bubble, laying into these tier 4s. There's so much sustain. Taiga's going to make his initiation. God, he just goes in and almost immediately takes so much. Supernova goes down. Dealing dealt with. The vacuum backing is not enough of disable. The Supernova egg does explode. NIGMA and all of the Miracle Illusions that are everywhere here are dealing damage out into Mickey, and Mickey has gotten a couple of kills. But again, NIGMA had all those buybacks to work with, and Liquid just does not have as many. They're going to buy back now on the Spectre and Taiga. See if they can go back in one more time, deal with Miracle and that Aegis, but it's going to cost Taiga potentially his dieback here as he's pulled back in into the Aether Remnant quickly. Lotus Orbed up. That's going to be able to bail him out, and back on the fountain he goes, continuing this fight. 3 versus 5, and Mickey, oh, what a vacuum, trying to save Mickey, no! He gets popped there by the Fate Bolt of GH, and that is just it. They've lost their carry, and Liquid will lose the first game of this best of 3.
Yeah, the moment the Spectre dies, they just immediately call GG despite having a couple of heroes to be alive there.
Yep.
But, man, yeah, that was just really that bottom lane engagement. Like, that was really close for the whole game, other than, like, the tower differential that we saw. It was close. I think it could have gone either way, and that's just the nature of dying directly outside of your base in Dota without buyback. You can't do that.